Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odesa. We've planned two briefings for today, and the first one is dedicated to prevention and to combating massive fire for forests, peatlands, and agricultural lands in the summer fire hazardous period. Our guest is Serhiy Gotko, Director of the Department for Civil Protection, Defense and Cooperation with the Law Enforcement Bodies of the Odesa Regional Military Administration. Serhiy, the floor is yours. Can you share with us the details? Thank you very much for the invitation today. I would like to welcome everyone. This is a very important issue because today is the 1st of June, the first day of summer. And we can see the sharp increase in temperature. And that's why the issue of possible fires is very important now. We are now entering the period of a risky period, especially when it comes to forests and agricultural lands. Because we are going to have harvesting period. We, on the 23rd of March, had the meeting of the special committee to consider a range of issues, including the complex plan to prevent fires in forests. The plan includes three sections. The first one covers organizational issues, the second one engineer and technical issues, and the third one the activities by the local authorities. The decisions, the protocols were provided to all stakeholders, including the Directorate of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, other emergency services, local authorities, and other stakeholders. And also the decision was sent to the State Enterprise Forests of Ukraine. At the end of 2023 and at the beginning 2022 and at the beginning of the 2023, there was created a special enterprise for forests covering Odesa, Mykolaiv, and Kherson oblasts. Their organization is ongoing. That's why there was made a decision to have the drills for our teams in April and May. More than 300 persons were involved and 64 units of equipment. The representatives of local authorities, the State Enterprise Forests of Ukraine, the State Emergency Service, and other stakeholders were involved in these exercises. Unfortunately, basing on the results of these drills, we have seen some gaps. The decision was made to additionally coordinate the activities of all the services. The State Regional Administration developed a complex plan, and there were recommendations provided to improve coordination between the structural units. There are also additional plans and activities as a part of the reorganization. I'd like to say a few more words about the reorganization. Odesa Oblast used to have 11 agricultural entities. Now we have 4. Odesa Forestry, Ismail Forestry, the forests of Anani, and Balta Forestry. We provided recommendations for their activities. It is planned to have additional exercises, additional drills to improve our results. I'd like to note that in parallel, we have preventive activities that covers the following: the establishment and update of the mineralized lines, anti-fire activities, anti-fire roads, the cleanup of forests and pitfalls. And you know that it is forbidden to go into forests. We need to take into consideration that there is the war in our country, and we need to support all activities envisaged by military orders and recommendations. That's why in all our plans, in the complex plan, we take into consideration opinions, recommendations, and orders of the Ukrainian military. In parallel, we have been conducting activities to target our activities. We also have some voluntary fire brigades and involving the equipment which is needed to put out forests. As for the mineralized lines, this is called buffer zones. And now the crops are growing, and every local fire can shift from the field to the forest and vice versa. There are motorways along forests, along fields. That's why we should take into consideration the human factor. And there can be misuse of fire, cigarettes, etc. And of course, the natural disasters. Every year we collect information. Additionally, in May this year, there was the order of the regional military administration to improve fire prevention activities during harvest period and also during preparing feeds for 2023. Of course, after harvesting, we should store a harvest somewhere, and the warehouses should be equipped according to all regulatory acts. This is briefly on my side. I would like to remind that we have the interpretation option today. That's why I would like to offer it to speak not so quickly. We have the question from the Inter-TV channel, Andrei Anastasov. According to Andrei Anastasov, your department is responsible for bomb shelters in the region. And the question is, when have you checked and scrutinized bomb shelters for the last time? And is there access to bomb shelter? What is the general situation with the bomb shelters? I anticipated the issue, the question, but this is not in line with our today's agenda. But I'd like to say that we can provide more details after we receive an official address from the journalist, an official request. But I would like to say that the Department for Civil Protection, I'm the manager, and we work to improve all the structures, all facilities. Unfortunately, because of the martial law, because of the hectic time, we cannot ensure massive scrutiny. We have a lot of documents now that we receive from the prosecutor's office, from the General Directorate of the State Emergency Service in our oblast, telling about the poor condition of the defense structures, of the civil defense structures. We're trying to solve all the issues. Unfortunately, the pace is not as expected by the population. But anyway, the repairs are ongoing. I understand the concern of journalists, and unfortunately, sometimes I also have to use bomb shelters. I'm well aware of their condition. But I would like to say that the work is ongoing now, and I believe that it will be intensified in the future. As for more details, we will be able to provide them following the request of the journalist. I'd like to say that this is also can be considered as the request to get public information. But I understand that you were not prepared to answer the question. Yes, because this is a massive amount of information, and I also should refer to the source of information. That's why, and actually I understand everything. And my question is, whom people should address when they try to get into a bomb shelter, but the bomb shelter is closed. And this situation allegedly was in Kyiv when a child was killed near the bomb shelter. whom a person should address during the air raid alert if a bomb shelter is closed. Is there any hotline? And when the population addresses our service, and we say that people should identify the responsible person for a bomb shelter. And we also work with such issues because sometimes during the daytime, when there is no need to use bomb shelters, they're responsible persons and saying that the keys from the bomb shelter can be provided at some place. But I think that people should solve all the issues on the spot. These are so-called communal services, which are closer to bomb shelters, because usually they are responsible for their bomb shelters, because such defense structures are on the balance of those services. And if it's Odesa, then this is the communal services. These are municipal enterprises of Odesa. If it's Podilsk, then municipal enterprise of Podilsk. There is a small number of defense structure, of protection structures that are owned by the state. As for private owned shelters, this is the issue. But still, we work together with the prosecutor's office to improve the situation for them to be repaired or for them to be returned into the public ownership. You mentioned the bomb shelters, which are on the balance of these state enterprises. And once I found a bomb shelter, it was on the list published by the municipal council at the beginning of the full-scale invasion near one of the regional administrations. And there was the telephone of the responsible person. I called that person. He came in 10 minutes, and he said that according to the procedure, and it was in February last year, during air raid alerts, this person is supposed to come to the shelter during 22 minutes. So that was a kind of a procedure that we inherited from the Cold War, because it took around 20 minutes for the rockets to get from the United States to the USSR. Do you know anything about such procedure, or was it the imagination of the person responsible for the bomb shelter? I think it's his imagination, because now all of us understand that they should work 24/7. Thank you. Do we have any questions from the floor? Michael, Alona? If there are no questions, then thank you very much for the briefing. Thank you for answering questions not only related to forest fires, because we know that this is a major problem for summer, but hopefully we will have the only problem soon. Thank you. The next briefing, and it's not a briefing, it will be a discussion dedicated to jury trials in Ukraine, will take place at 2 p.m. So please stay tuned. Please watch our online broadcast.